Welcome on back, everyone, to a wonderful halftime show here between the great series we have to finish off our day between TSM Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. Now, I have a fun one here because as we're gonna get to it, as a great break segment always does, and maybe you'll get my inspiration here. But we have Who's That Academy Player? Gonna bring up the graphic now, and so I want to just break it down really quick. I'm gonna have a little bit of trivia fun here. I have a bunch of facts about a player in the academy scene, at least in one of the teams in the academy, that I'm gonna go ahead and list off to my fellow wonderful casters in Cubby and Magical. I'm gonna go one at a time, and they're gonna try to guess who the player will be. Hopefully, they don't get it too quick, but we will go ahead and bring them in here and see if we can get them started on the right path and get a little bit of nice trivia going for one of our academy players. So, guys, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? Okay. Good. Yeah. Is there another cookie there? Dang. It's a cookie. All right. Yeah. Come on, Cubby. You should know better than that. All right, first trivia point for this player. Again, academy player. This split started in 2016. He was on Team Liquid as his first team. Don't do it.
Do it.
You want me to just say it?
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want.
Say it.
It's Viper.
It is! Congratulations! First guess, it's great! I'm gonna still talk about the trivia for him, but we're gonna bring his picture up on screen. Now, was it the picture silhouette, or was it the fact that he started in 2016 and he was on Team Liquid?
Yes.
I like it. So the player is Viper. I'm sure we'll get the reveal here in just a little bit. But I want to keep going down some of the facts that I found about him because I thought they were really fun. So, again, started 2016. First team was Team Liquid. Multiple showings in LCS with different teams.
There he is.
There he is. There's that smile. Haha. Team Liquid, FlyQuest, Dignitas, Immortals, and now TSM. Spent a year in Amateur as well as in a tiny little break from the LCS and LCS Academy splits.
Yeah, he just casually won Proving Grounds.
Yeah,
exactly. Casually.
It was nothing.
By the way, I didn't know this because I didn't remember this. He was the Spring Outstanding Rookie in 2019.
Ooh.
Not too bad. I don't know if that is in your pocket, Cubby. I know you're the storyteller historian.
I quoted his NAR win rate from NoOrg by memory yesterday.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Of course you would.
Guys had an impact on
It
your
was
life.
80% in 20 games. It was an easy one to remember.
So the other ones I
Pretty
had
impressive.
were he's the oldest of his family. He's also the start of a legacy, as you know, oldest of the three crazy, insanely mechanically talented Viper family. Also, this one was from our producer Kelsey. Considered role swapping to ADC.
Oh.
So,
I mean, that makes sense. He plays a lot of marksman top lane.
No, so
it was apparently a big conversation.
Yeah, so last year when he was on NoOrg, we actually had him on the podcast I'm a part of, and he also talked about how like what he wants to do in the future is something that he wants to coach his twin brothers because, of course, Sniper and Crimson, both 15-year-old, really, really talented League of Legends players. Sniper being on Hunter Next. Crimson competed on Radiance as a mid laner. This is the first split where they could in Proving Grounds. So he wants to play and then coach them. So kind of going for like the Braun effect.
Yeah.
All right.
You know? Yeah.
You know, no big deal.
Except brother instead of kids.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say maybe change that a little bit, but hey, it all works out
Close.
the same. The feelings, the thoughts are the same. But I figured, he is one of our, felt like an underserved player in the split, and this guy deserves a spotlight, right? Yes, he has been in LCS, but he's showing up in Academy when it matters at the end of the split, even with TSM not having the best split that they've ever had.
Yeah, I think that Viper, like, his laning stats have been good. I mean, he's averaging being up 236 gold at 15. He's been playing a bunch of champions, something we've always known Viper for. And I think that, there's this stigma that if a player goes from, like, Academy to LCS, like, to Academy, it's bad. I think that Viper is much like Dokla has gotten better over time.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's more so like like those shifts. I mean, it's not ideal going from pro to academy, but also I think that it shows that this system works, and the more time you spend in it, the better you get, the better you should get. I think Viper is still someone that we've seen so many moments where he's able to dominate top lanes. That was a game right there where we saw it out of him, and hopefully we get to see more of that heading into Proving Grounds, where of course he is one of the 2 teams that won. So he is a defending champion.
I will say something on Twitter that has absolutely nothing to do with Viper unless he gets involved in some way. From that last series, in that thread that you were highlighting in the pause or the technical difficulties with Dokla, Sniper chimed in and was like, "Teach me Aurelia," and Dokla was like, "No, you teach me." So I think Viper needs to get in there and maybe teach both of them at this point.
I've got actually a crazier fun fact about Viper.
Oh, okay.
His very first streaming PC was bought for him by Skara.
Wow.
And Skara, back in season, he told us the story on the podcast. Skara back in season 3, he played a game with Viper. Viper hard carried on Riven, and he was so good that Skara added him after the game, talked to him a little bit, and Viper explained the situation. It's he linked him 2 PCs and was like, pick one. He's like, you got to stream this game. You're way too good. Way back.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I love it. So that was our Who's That Academy Player segment. Thank you guys for joining in with me and getting to talk about Viper more. I love doing these kinds of segments because we do get to do a little bit more of digging into the player's background, give a little bit more information to the community as well, instead of just watching them play video games in front of us.
Can we play that again?
I mean, we could, but that's all I had prepped because we don't have
That's
that
for the
much
next
time.
Series, which we aren't on.
Which we aren't on.
Maybe
That's
tomorrow,
not
then.
existent.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But I will say, strong first game from TSM Academy. The fact that Viper started the game with a bunch of kills on the Camille, had a lot of presence in the game, but then obviously the rest of the team kind of coming up in the later parts of the game, especially team fighting. But it's all about the response now for Evil Geniuses, right? And we've seen this response from them either way, right? Either in the first game or the second game throughout the split. So I'm excited to see what they can kind of bring to the table.
As am I, because they are swapping sides. So TSM will be on blue. This gives counterpick towards Evil Geniuses, which generally is something they kind of need, especially going into Viper. Even if they kind of got it that time, this was one of the rare times we saw Viper's pick not be the very last pick to make sure they could deny the Camille over to 30. But still, you saw the power he had even in what's supposed to be a pretty bad matchup for Viper. He still was able to not only survive, but thrive, and then rotate around the map to make more plays, get other lanes ahead with Hyper. The Hyper-Viper duo was truly online in this game.
Just goes together so well, the words. It's so easy. It's that easy. I'm still hoping that we get to see, the Riven come through at the end of the split. Maybe we see it sneak in the next couple days. But
if we wanted to do more fun facts about Viper, I'm sure a lot of people would be surprised to know his Riven's 0-3 so far this split.
All right. Well, is that a fun fact or is that a
sad fact?
Sad fact.
Sad facts. Yeah.
Cubby's sad bear facts apparently is what we got. But do you guys think we'll see anything spicy coming out for this last one? I mean, I think that obviously Evil Geniuses much more in the hunt for that top 6 spot than TSM Academy, but I still feel
with EG,
what was that?
It's out of their control.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it really a fight for it? Because in all actuality, when you drop a game in these kinds of important situations, it's a little bit more tricky.
I actually believe that unless EG wins this game and then 2-0s TL tomorrow, I don't think that there is a scenario where they can get out into the top 6. I think that it was a long shot for EG coming into this week, but I think that we're going to see EG now in that do or die best of 3. So I think for EG, some of the good things that I like about this team is that I think that they have started to find this early identity. And I think that they are trying to empower Tomio to go for these plays, but I think that EG just has to be a little bit more careful about maybe the plays they are opting to go for, because Tomio...
I need the Tomio death squad. That's what I need.
Yeah, we need the Tomio death squad. Even the look mid for Tomio, attacking Kaiduo like that, when that play loses out, that's a lot of time spent where you're not farming camps, you're not staying ahead of the hack room, where you're not maybe invading his other side of the map. And those are the moments where we saw Hyper take that, try and cross map, try and get CS on himself. And eventually, when TSM got to the 15-minute mark, only down 2K gold, they were ahead at that point.
For anybody that doesn't know, the Tomio Death Squad is when the whole team just walks around Tomio and they just go find people in the jungle and win the game.
I appreciate you detailing that for us fully.
Yes. Just in case people haven't been watching this guy play for the last year or so. But anyways, guys, we are ready to go into Champions Select. So, guys, take it away for our final game of the day.
Thank you so much, Mazel. We will see you again after this series concludes. Cubby, this one game, the series already had a lot of implications for seeding, but this game now has massive implications for Evil Geniuses. If they lose this one, they face off against Team Liquid, one of our hottest teams in Academy at the moment, which we have to expect is going to be Team Liquid favored. That might even be a 0-2 for Evil Geniuses. And if they lose this one to TSM, they might end up getting the 10th seed instead of the 8th that they currently sit at.
I mean, when you say, it could be Team Liquid favored, that is Team Liquid favored. They haven't dropped a game since they got Ayla back in the roster. They've been on a tear. So it is still a long shot for EG to have any hope at top 6. But all that EG can do now is just try to put up some wins. And more importantly, I think try and put up some better play. I want to see EG just still try to come together as a squad. I know that Tomio, Skytech, they're rookies in their role this split. I think they are still trying to grow into their role. There have been some bumps along the road, but I think what this team's good at when they're at their best, it is playing aggressive, and it's doing so early and doing so as a team. And I want to see them stick with this style, and I still think it is a way that you can beat TSM.
But into the draft we are. We have two mid lane bans and 2 ADC bans, one apiece for each side, taking away the annoyances they had suffered in the previous game. That Caitlyn ban is the big one that stands out for me.
They are asking for a Jinx ban.
They
definitely want Jinx to be taken off the board here. And we'll see what TSM actually opens up with for a first pick. The last time on the stream, we did see 4 marksman bans. It was... whoa. Okay. That is actually very aggressive from TSM. I have really not seen a lot of Tahm Kench openers.
No, neither have I.
I'm very curious.
And I would expect exactly this. Probably going to be Ezreal Karma for the bot lane. Well, actually, they don't even need to take the Karma, realistically. That Lee Sin that normally Hyper likes to take that we'd expected to have been the first pick for TSM isn't. They can easily steal that away and deny Hyper essentially a 4th ban.
And look, I think it's actually a big sign when it comes to TSM Academy. And Hyper's Lee Sin. This is his most played champion. It is his best champion. It's the one where they won the LCS lock-in game when he was on Lee Sin. It is permabanned away from TSM. He's only played it 1 time in Academy. They didn't first pick that. They're giving that over to Tomio. Hyper now is probably going to take his 2nd best champion in the Viego. Imagine that you can play, but that's a good sign for TSM because they used to really rely on a Hyper's champion reliance on certain picks. So the fact that when a champion like that's up, they can pivot, they can take that Tahm Kench, something that I think is incredibly strong at the moment. I think it's a really good sign moving forward for TSM Academy and a sign of growth.
I do like that as well. I was even going to say, when we look at yesterday, look at the game that they lost, it might have been with him playing Viego, but he looked really good at it. He was doing a lot in the early game. Unfortunately, it's just against the Dignitas, who found really good team fight angles for themselves.
He mechanically played it very well, but I think that was a win condition they didn't properly identify. They were trying to match Dignitas bot. And keep in mind, that was the game where Viper was like 2-0, 3-0 in the top side, and they just never took the Herald. Herald was not taken until 17 minutes. So I thought that was one where TSM might have kind of forgotten about or dropped or misidentified their win cons. And I want to see if TSM can continue to do so better because I think game 1, they did a great job of identifying their win con and playing around it.
As we get into the second part of bans, both sides have equivalent picks in the lane states, jungle and bot lane fully secured, so we're seeing a lot of focus on the other lanes. Camille taken away from Surdy. I think we'd expect a lot from him. That Ari banned as well towards Kaiduo. Akali will hit the bench too.
I like that, paying respect towards Viper. His Akali is still his most played, has been great this split. If we are looking at the bans, we might see Viper. See if I can guess it again here, Mad Magical.
Let's see. Do you have the big brain?
I think he's setting up for a Gwen.
Gwen, even with the nerfs and the lack of priority everyone has put onto Gwen?
Akawi, Fiora, Camille, all good matchups into the Gwen.
Okay.
I think that could be the angle.
All right. We'll have to see if you're big brain on that one. A Soligo takes an Orianna. That's an interesting pick. It works blind, doesn't it?
So Soligo, I mean, Ori, a good pick for him. I think Soligo really excels at control mages and does give EG another way to just have a safe blind, try and control fights, and try and control the terrain. As EG, they have a lot of mobility so far on their side, and so I'm looking to see if TSM, I think non-committal engage could be really good for them. And speaking of that, what about some non-committal poke as well? Might as well just put Kaidoa back on the Corki. It is a matchup that Orianna wins early, but we saw how hard Corki can scale. And EG, they weren't able to find a successful dive last game. See if they can do so against it, or see if they can actually try and find one on the Corki early in this one.
Now, we'll have to see. We'll have to keep our eyes on how this plays out. I actually kind of was excited for that Azir that was hovered by Instinct, because when I look at this team, now locking in that Gnar, the one weakness I really can identify immediately from them, there's a lot of poke on that side. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at TSM. They don't have the quickest objective take.
And, I mean, that is something that they didn't have in the last game, but it didn't matter.
True.
Now, I think this game, for the side of TSM, it's a similar, two carries, mid and AD, but this feels very different. I think that TSM, they have to be really careful about how they engage onto EG with the Orianna, with the Karma. That's so much shielding and movement speed, where you can walk away from a Gnar, you can get away from a Tom Kench, Abyssal Dive, and I think it's really going to be on TSM to make sure whatever engage they take is clean. Jhin can really help set up for that, can help isolate the members of EG. Outside of EG, it's still going to be about playing aggressive early. I think that they can hit the mid-game spike really hard with the Jace, Ezreal, Orianna, but we saw what happens when things go late. That Corki, sometimes he can totally outscale a team, like an entire team, and I think that Kaidoa with the Corki, he was massive in the last game. We'll see if he can keep on stepping up big in this one, but that is later. So EG still have room to make plays early. We'll see if they can be successful at doing that, and a bit more successful this time around.
Playing aggro into playing and buying for time. Evil Geniuses versus TSM. If we get into this next game, I said before, there's so much on the line in this game. If Evil Geniuses win this, they will secure themselves not 10th seed. They'll make sure that TSM has no way to pass them in the standings. And as long as you can buy it yourself that time, not have to worry about falling that far into the seedings, it gets a little bit easier when looking towards the play into Proving Ground.
And for the side of EG, I still think this is, would be an important win or a big win for them, just given, where they're at in the split. We're later into Proving Grounds. First time they went up against TSM, it was a 2-0. I think that dropping 0-2 now, that wouldn't give a ton of confidence heading into the next stage of our spring here in the developmental leagues for NA. And I think this is a good moment for EG. I think they have been a team that has shown quite a bit of mental resilience. I'm thinking back to that 1-1 against C9, where they overcame that 4K gold deficit, beat them in the later stages off the backs of Tomio and Skytech. I'm still looking for those two rookies to really continue to try and step up, continue to try and show that they've grown in this first split of Academy. And as we spawn onto the map for Game 2, you're getting excited by Magical. It's EG. 5-man invade topside. They do have Karma Ezreal. Level 1s are open.
Don't see anybody. Instead, it was a line of scrimmage attempted by TSM to deny any access points into their jungle, to give advantages to Tomio in the early levels against the Viego.
And now, I think the goal for EG, so the nice part about Ezreal Karma is that, yeah, you can path towards it, but you can also leave it on its own. And it's pretty self-sufficient in making sure that it's tough to gank, but can also just win you that bot lane. I think that EG, it's a return to more common strategy we've been seeing from them, which is Tomio pathing up towards top, supporting Surdy. And I know Surdy's Jace, it's 1-4 in the games that he's played in the Academy so far, but he is good at this pick. And I think that Tomio working towards top, trying to set Viper behind, it can be a challenge, but I think this is the right game plan. Good opener for EG.
Well, you talked about a bit of the late game weaknesses for Evil Geniuses, but this is not nearly as severe as that last draft that they have. You got Jace, you have Orianna, you have Ezreal. All of these are great in the late game. And looking at Surdy, how he's playing into Viper now, he's aiming to gain control immediately.
And look at how volatile Surdy just made this lane. Now, but part of this is that he knows that Tomio is pathing towards him. Now, EG doesn't know that Hyper is pathing away. They can reasonably assume, given where Instinct and Yursan showed in the bot wave. Now, we'll see if Tomio, when he's able to get up there, or if he gets up there fast, but all that trading going even, that does favor EG, given that they will have their jungler working towards the top side.
Look for an early dive as well, as long as they wait out the timers. But wow, we're getting a full-on 2v2 fight in the bot lane. There's a lot of flashes. Tongue Lash doesn't go for it. Goes for Abyssal Dive to cut off the retreat. Flashes in with the Tongue Lash. But on the other side, the ADCs are fighting. It is a noodle fight on one side, and it's kill for Cowrie, but it's going to be Yerson taking one. And with how low Cowrie is, Tom Kench is noodling for a double.
And that's the power of the Kench. You have so many stats early. Your ability to trade, ability to stick. EG, they try and go for this. So let's take a second. Look. So Skytech, I think he has to flash over that Q, and they have to full commit to Instinct. Instinct living, using that heal after the Ignite expires, that is able to buy enough health for the side of TSM to make sure that this 2v2 was always going to go in their favor.
That was a hungry catfish right there. That was a great play to make sure they could secure the 2 kills. Even if First Blood was picked up by Cowrie, they got him out of lane.
Now, the wave state was even, so honestly, no AD really gets anything from that. We talked about Surdy wanting to make top lane volatile, given that Tomio is coming up here. Bot lane now, no sums left for either bot lane, so that's a giant target for each team. And Hyper is now here to see if they can make a play. They might be setting up for a dive.
It might be a trade of dives, because with Tomio top lane at the moment, he could easily threaten that. They have the Mini-Gnar available for Viper, so it will take a little bit of time and allows
things are about to get weird.
Viper to go into the spot lane. Nice spot out by Cowrie and Skytech, thinking something's fishy. Surdy's pretty low, so they set up this dive for Tomio. It's an attempted fight with the flash in for Viper. He doesn't get it. The shield from Tomio was enough to keep him alive. Waiting for the Q, waiting for the damage so they can time this one out. And there he goes. Jumps in with the ward hop for his own kill.
Okay, I thought that Tomio might not have had it, but was able to find it in the end. Viper goes down. They get the flash. Meanwhile, bot, let's return here. They at least force Cowrie and Skytech to miss the waves. They lose the experience from that, but TSM were not able to find any kills. So EG, a trade across the map, because the bot lane doesn't go down, favor what EG got there.
But I also have to give credit to Viper. Despite the fact that he died in that dive
was really
top lane,
close. He got both flashes.
Very close, getting both flashes, and how much time he killed from Evil Geniuses. He was going to go down regardless, but he understood as long as he could delay, that gives him his team that time to spend all in the bot lane.
Now, some of the consequences of the early action we have, Surdy already has completed that serrated Zerk. That's only a single cloth armor for the Gnar. So this should be pressure top for Surdy. And Hyper, I think curiously enough, Hyper actually has the option here to flip his pathing. So on the Krugs, he has all of his camps coming up for the secondary spawn. He can now path bot to top and try and contest Tomio when he gets up here the second time.
We'll have to watch that. We'll have to see if Hyper is going to contest Tomio, because that is always an issue you deal with as Viego into Lee Sin. This early game power, and if anyone's going to know it, Hyper is going to be the player that understands the limits and the strengths of Lee Sin.
Surdy won't be able to pick up this wave A-okay. A little bit of quiet action on the map at the moment, but I think, you know, cycling back to what we talked about with EG, we still felt like they had some early power, early push. Honestly, I think the TSM getting ahead in this bot lane really breaks that, because now EG, they're pretty low on damage for a bit. Nice sidestep from Cowrie. But this Ezreal, I mean, it takes time for Ezreal to get online. You really aren't, you don't feel really powerful until you have the completed Essence Reaver plus Miramana. Once you get Essence Reaver, you know, it feels better, but you're still not like this massive champion. So I think that TSM actually, I like their scaling over time because of the Corki, and I think at the moment, they're a little bit stronger on the map.
Here, looking for a play onto Surdy. Surdy will get that recall off in time, so Hyper instead clears out the ward, allows Viper to crash the wave, and forces the TP from Surdy.
Hold on. Hold on. Hyper.
Okay. Smite secured for Hyper, but the shockwave flashed away. Now, a little bit of disengage for the side of Evil Geniuses. That's the big point. That was why Hyper had flashed in for that. He made sure he secured the Scuttle Crab and denied Tomio from getting it.
And that's a pretty big trade lost out on by Saligo. He's going to now be on the back foot. We do have to think about Herald and Dragon on the map. I think that EG, Herald, once again, very, very important for them. If you can get Jace accelerated earlier, if you can shift Ezreal to get outside the lane, I think that's big. Whereas for TSM, if you're able to stack dragons with a Corki, I know the changes they made to his package timer now being available every 5 minutes makes it a little bit tougher to play around, but still, you're looking for those big dragon team fights as the Corki is always. And I think that's something that TSM, with the new lead they found in the bot lane, might be looking to push at the moment. This wave shoving away from EG, and Hyper is here.
Hitting 2 of the 3 lanes with an advantage. The only one that is suffering at the moment is top lane. This Hyper is in mini form. This is
They got you.
Yeah, it always gets me. It always gets me. The rhyming scheme on the side of TSM. But Viper is getting shoved in until he gets Mega. He's not really going to be able to battle back too efficiently against Jace.
At least has the plated steel caps. That does help quite a bit in this matchup. But I think the big concern at the moment, because of how that top river skirmish went, Kaido was able to pick up a plate for himself, and it's again ahead of the power curve as the Corki into the Orianna matchup that once again is should counter the Corki, should win in lane. Kaido is overperforming.
Yes, I mean, looking at Cowrie, this is what we'd expect from this ADC. This is an ADC who's pretty strong, but it's also going to be a difficult time in this matchup with how well Instinct and Yursan have been playing.
And we'll see if they can snowball that into the dragon. That still is the neutral I'm looking for TSM to target. Now, I mentioned the package timers. Corki, of course, cannot grab the package until the 10-minute mark now. So I also want to see EG push really hard to try and take the rift before that package is available. I think that the next 90 seconds, EG should really look to prioritize this Rift Herald. Tomio skipping over all of his camp, sprinting right towards it. So Vigo should have push on this wave, but
top lane
I guess since they see Yursan bot, things should be okay. I think TSM might be seeding over this Rift. We'll see how frisky Hyper wants to get here.
Dirty has to leave lane and let the wave crash. They didn't have the advantage from there, but Hyper, again, could seal this away like he did the Scuttle Crab. Why are you there, Instinct and Yursan? You are far behind enemy lines. And this is the re-engage on the other side. It's the smite secured for Hyper, stealing away the Rift Herald that had been started. Now they got to steal away their lives. Shockwave connects onto 2. They got a kill onto 1, but they're looking for kill onto 2. A lot of damage onto Hyper, but he survives. They get 2 kills for themselves, and now Saligo. He got a good Shockwave, but now he's got to escape from the rockets, the missiles that are connecting from Kaido over and over and over again, waiting for that one. There it is. No! Sidestep from Saligo to survive, but the Phosphorus Bomb picks up the kill.
And everything for EG at the Rift Herald, Mad Magical, it collapses. They weren't able to take it before Viper popped Mega. Hyper was able to steal it, and just like that, TSM are 2.5k gold ahead. We're going to take a second look. Viper's Mega. EG did not do this fast enough, and the kick is forced. Tomio just has to back off. Now, EG, they need the fight after, but look at the poke that landed early from Viper and Kaido. Tomio goes down despite using everything to try and pull off the engage. They don't even pick up Hyper, and everything just falls apart for EG.
And God, this is unfortunate for EG. The play going awry, not even getting the Rift Herald that they had started. This is all the advantages that TSM could possibly want. Buying that time for a good mid to late game and denying that from the hands of evil geniuses.
Now, I mean, while all this was going on, too, I mean, keep in mind, we saw Instinct and Yursan behind the turret bot. They got 2 plates for themselves. And EG, they have to counter going top.
You have to get the skill to work out. Viper's killing a lot of time, and he's killing Tomio. 1v2. Guess who's Mega, boys? It is Viper with a double kill.
Viper, man, he takes both the rookies for EG down by himself. And, I mean, EG, everything just falling to the wayside. That early plan to get the Jace ahead, no more. Early Herald, no more. Bot lane, all that's falling apart because all the prio that's has been given top. And Viper, man, he's having such not only a good game, but a good series here, Mad Magical.
Is this the game? That's great for TSM. The fact that a dive happens to Viper, he turns around, gets both kills, and lives. I don't know what Evil Genius can do now.
It's kind of doomed. As we're going to take a second look. Tomio trying to sync up onto Viper. I mean, it's a good combo early. I think that Viper's flash to dodge out on the Jace Q damage, that was the big one. Love the shove away. Lucky enough to get the stun, too. Red buff does the rest of the dirty work, and Viper, man, he's styling on this Gnar. I teased that I had that Gnar win rate from Norg memorized. 80% win rate in 20 games in the spring. His Gnar was so good. It was his most played. No one could touch it. Good to see him putting up the numbers again on the Gnar. Now this matchup's so hard for Surdy. That's a red buff. That's 2 levels. Viper, he's got another solo
He
kill.
just kills him outright.
Yeah.
And Tomio, he was a little late to the party. He could try to kill Viper, but at this point, even with him being mini, he could sidestep the Q like that and continue to poke at the running away Lee Sin.
I think Viper's got to start dropping the emotes. I think Viper has to start dealing some mental damage with how good he's been playing as... Curiously enough, Kaido, he didn't have the package. Tried to use it to bounce back here top. Not able to find anything. I don't think it should matter as Skytech's up here, which will open up the Dragon to be taken by TSM at the moment. And now Mad Magical, I mean, let's just see how fast TSM can maybe start to snowball, start to take this game. They have a big advantage moving forward. And I'd love to see Hyper now getting up in the face of EG, knowing that they spotted Tomio up there. Cowrie, he's in trouble.
He's dead. Even with a heal, a flash. Viper's here. Oh, wait, or is he? There he goes. Okay. I was about to say he should be dead.
Okay. Nice backup by Yurson. I like seeing Yurson and Hyper work together more. I think that's been one of the big reasons TSM's having more success in the second round robin. Good to see him working together there. Hyper goes into Yurson's belly. Cowrie's gold goes into Hyper's belly. And now Viper, he's got more members up top. Let's see if he can defend this.
2 wasn't enough, maybe 3 will. But the flash away from Skytech
Oh my goodness.
tells us that is no.
It's not enough. He's got Hullbreaker, man. This Hullbreaker Gnar. Viper's doing his best summit impression up there on the top side, and no one from EG can deal with him.
He's got, yeah, he's 3-1. Hullbreaker like you talked about. And guess what? 3 show top. That's a free dragon. Another neutral objective picked up by the side of TSM. This time, not even a steal.
And, I mean, once again, for EG, I praise them for, committing to this early identity, trying to play around this however that they can. It's just 2 games in a row where, I mean, things have really fallen apart for EG, and I know that TSM have really improved in the second round robin. I know that they're playing better, but EG, this is the 10th place team, and they're really struggling against this squad going into Proving Grounds. I mean, that's not a great sign. Like, for TSM, a team that we feel like is scaling at the right time, really starting to improve at EG. This has been a couple games from them where they just feel really disconnected and discombobulated with what they want to do on the map. Just aren't able to pull it off together.
Evil Geniuses, they started off the season pretty all right, but in this second half of the round robin have looked all sorts of out of sorts. And there, 30 gets almost solo killed by Yurson. This Jace is now not a non-factor.
Once Jace completes Miramana, you can always count on him for poke, but it's going to be a long time away for EG and TSM. A 6K gold lead at the 15-minute mark. This is a comp we were saying they're going to scale. They have a Jin Corki. They didn't take any time. They just want to win this game as fast as possible. It doesn't matter the champs that they have, as at least EG get a counterpunch mid. That's Instinct down.
Instinct's down, so getting some gold onto Sligo. Could help them get towards that point in the mid game where they can really be explosive. They can work well as with one another. There's going to be some time, even all because Viper's still insane. He got a turret in the bot lane. His team is getting the second Rift Herald of the game at just over 15 minutes, where Evil Geniuses are looking like they are lost on the map.
And now for TSM, I mean, this is... I almost want to see, how clean can they make this? I mean, what kind of statement can they make for the rest of the teams we're going to have in Proving Grounds going into Academy moving forward, Mad Magical? Because this is a TSM. I mean, they really feel like they've upped their game, throughout the second round robin. But even this performance they're putting on today, this is better. This is different than anything else we've seen out of TSM so far this year.
The Evil Geniuses are setting up a Hail Mary play, but it's spotted out. Kaido has the spidey sense there. He's like, something's fishy. No one's top to match me.
EG have to go for, crazy plays like that. That's the only way they have a chance of coming back. And with everyone started looking top,
and now
Sligo's free mid.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say there. There was a Rift Herald play. Hyper had a good answer rotating around so they can pick up the kill, and now they get a secondary crash. They might even take this tier 2 mid.
They will. It's going to be everything falling again in favor of TSM as... Look for EG. We've seen
It's
them
rough.
have some success
It's
on
rough.
these champs, on these comps, but just not this game.
No.
TSM, they've had all the answers for EG, and EG, we'll see. Maybe when they get the tiers to evolve for the Jace Ezreal, maybe they can find a kill or two, but they are so far behind at this point. Now Skytech, oh boy,
Oh,
check it.
yeah, he's
Oh, no.
dead. Look at the damage from Hyper. He doesn't even need the help of your son. They could have gotten the kill himself, but with the Devour, with the kill, Rampage for your son of all people, TSM completely own this rift. They're set up at the moment to look to climb up in the seeding, get themselves in a better position for Proving Ground.
I actually learned something new there, Mad Magical.
What's that?
So the Karma healing from the Mantra W still went through the Tom Ken sheet. That's kind of messed up.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
That's weird. Very weird. I mean, I don't know how much to say on that. I've never seen that interaction either.
You know what? Learning, win or learn, as we like to say. I learned something.
And
We celebrate that.
so right now, I'm looking at what Evil Geniuses might learn from this game, and whether or not it's possible for them to come back into this. They are down 9,000 gold at 18 minutes into the game. They're getting a lot of their Cheer of the Goddesses fully stacked. Siligo, Cowrie have theirs completely filled up. They can buy the items necessary in just a minute to actually get those upgraded items. But it's Surdy that we have our eyes on for when his
Oh, we're
completes.
sending it.
And he gets the Muramana, because that's when he's the most powerful. But Kaido absorbing so much pressure here in the top lane. It's a lot of focus just to
Let's
kick him back.
go.
They have forced 4 members top here just to get that kill onto 1.
I like this from EG. I mean, this is something that I credited EG. They're never one to go down without a fight. Sometimes we see that for better or for worse. That's a good example where Dragon spawning, they just go send for the other side of the map, and they were at least able to pick up a shutdown.
They get themselves a shutdown. Now they're getting out of there to reset around the Dragon, but with TSM having the man advantage on the bottom half of the map, they should get that pretty easily.
And that is bounty gold, so it's no longer a 10k gold deficit. It's going to drop down to 8k. Dragon, though, still will fall over to TSM, but that's only the second one. So nothing like a soul point. This Dragon takes been a little bit slow this game. That said, Surdy, I think has been going for a little bit too much gold here.
Yeah, he got
And Viper's
greedy.
gonna-
Really
Yeah, he's going to
greedy.
send back to the gray screen.
Punished for the greed and avarice out of Surdy. Another kill for Viper. Kaido was there just in case, but I think Surdy ate like 3 turret shots.
It is a game where, because he has a score that's kind of low, he is not worth as much gold. So it's not quite as bad, but
Look, that's the argument I
also-
make in solo queue.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm making here on cast.
Okay, you're using my man. I really am infecting you, aren't I?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at times it's not that bad. Though, it did reset for Surdy off the assist, so unfortunately, will be full gold value going over to Viper, who continues to assert his dominance on the top side. Going to be the Trinity Force for the Gnar coming in after that Hull Breaker. Now that Baron's on the map, you can see how scared EG are of the Baron take. He is checking Baron 7 seconds after it spawns. That is exactly how scared EG are about this Baron.
I'd be too. It's an 8k gold lead still for the side of TSM. They saw True Shot Barrage, the one scouting tool they still have from long range, gone. They turn for this.
No, they have Sligo's Blue Trinket.
There it
That's
is.
still up.
There it is.
There
They
it
use
is.
it so they know. They have an idea that they're inside of the pit, but 3 members are outside, hanging out in the wings, looking for the engaged fight. With 50% down onto the Baron, they're doing a
big
good
Gnar.
job, and that's the big thing, is the fact that Viper's about to go mega. There it is.
Oh.
A lot of damage coming in from Kaido's
Corky.
missiles each time they land. It's doing so much, but with the Baron so low, you gotta get in now. It's the flash in. It's not stolen. Tomio went for the Hail Mary, but the hero Kaido makes sure it is still TSM's. Yurson gobbles up Surdy, spits them back out. He might get another kill, but he gives it over to Kaido instead.
I appreciate the effort from EG. They aren't going down without a fight. Unfortunately, I think a couple more members of EG are going to go down before this game wraps. As Hyper.
There it is. He might die. Yeah, he does die to the turret, but they pick up 3 members on the side of Evil Geniuses. Baron on top of 4 for TSM, so they can escort more minions into these inhibitor turrets that have been up and available for quite some time.
And, I mean, look, the writing's been on the wall for a while here. This is going to be a TSM 2-0, and honestly, I credit to TSM as that's the first part of the base falling, the mid inhibitor. I mean, this is a team. I don't know the last time they had a 2-0. It might
They've
have
had
been
a single
week
one.
3.
They've had a single one in this entire season.
And I think the fact that, TSM looking to find a second one here, I don't care who it's up against. I think this is just another way, another showing that TSM has where, this is a team that is getting better. This is a team that is improving. The only other 2-0 they had was against the C9 sub squad.
I had bated breath right there. I was waiting for the kill. Here's that Viper getting shut down by Surdy. You said the game is over, and it does seem that way. But you
I'm standing by it.
I'm bringing up a point you talked about before. Evil Geniuses are a team that will continue to fight until the bitter end. And this is a composition that, while it doesn't necessarily have outstanding scaling compared to that of TSM, they still do have scaling. Jace is getting some items. The Muramana is completed. You look at Saligo, has gotten the Shadow Flame. Even look at Cowrie, Muramana completed. These are powerful tools they can use.
It is. They're also staring down a 3-item Corki. And we're about to see how hard Kaido hits.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt just to watch.
That's tough. That's a big Corki. As EG gonna try and sidestep all the rocks they can. TP's curtain up.
All right, this is TSM ready to end this game with that TP committed. Grabbing an exposed inhibitor in the mid lane, getting a lot of chip damage onto the turret top side with the help of that cannon minion so they can look for the turn on to Tomio. Kaido, oh man, this guy is massive in this series. His Corki has been outstanding.
I know I came into the day saying that a lot of TSM's improvements have been from their other members. Today, a lot of it's been from Kaido.
It has.
Okay, Hyper goes down on the push, but EG, they're now down 2 inhibitors.
And they could go down 3. When these minions are cleared, there's already a wave there for TSM to capitalize on. With a little bit of damage, they didn't have enough minions to fully take it. So they have to retreat and get out of this base. So they can't overcommit and give more gold over to Evil Geniuses.
We are seeing some of the shock blasts start to connect, start to hurt a little bit as Surdy has been gifted a little bit of shutdown gold. You can see Surdy stepping up. That's some nice poke onto the Corki, giving Kaido a little bit of taste of his own medicine there.
Yeah, it's insane. All right, if anything you can do, I can do not necessarily better, but just as well.
Hold on, that's the Silas line.
Well, yeah, we don't have Silas in this game, though.
Okay.
That's why I said almost as good. Not.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not.
See, we're on the same
It's not
page.
anything you could do. I could do better. It's just as well.
As only other option for EG, just try and pick up some more bounties. They might be able to walk up and hit mid. They don't have vision elsewhere. I think the glue from Hyper is going to scare them off just enough. And EG, it's Pick City now. They're trying to fix their sides. They have 2 lanes of super inhibit minions coming in. We'll see if they make picks. I do want to kind of return to that point on TSM. The only 2-0 that TSM picked up this split until what is likely to be this one was on C9 sub squad, week 1.
Yep.
That is the kind of split that TSM has had in 10th. I think that this is a huge boost for them. And not only just having that 2-0, but the style they've been able to do it in. I mean, it's been so dominant from TSM these 2 games.
Well, this is what we're going to expect going into Proving Grounds. That's why it's so critical for these teams to now come online. Even if you're playing in the play-ins, you want to show your best face forward going into those play-ins, that you are a team that can compete. Just because you haven't had the best season does not mean you're not one to be feared of.
And if I'm an amateur team, I don't want to face this in the play-ins. I mean, this has been a really good look from TSM as curtain calls once again, as curtains are looking to close on this game. TSM, 1 more inhibitor turret and inhibitor to go.
Hey, you're counting Evil Geniuses down and out. While I think TSM have all the advantages, this is Academy. We have seen some wild things before. With 1 inhibitor standing, TSM look to threaten off Evil Geniuses, but it's instant getting away from Tomio. Shockwave only connects onto 1. This is now TSM's game. Everything has been burned by Evil Geniuses. They are getting burned inside of their own base. Chased down, back towards the fountain. Game locked. This is the sweep TSM needed, looking towards the Proving Grounds. 1 step closer to getting themselves out of the 10th seed.
And TSM, we really cannot praise this team enough for the look they put on today. I think the manner in which they were able to take this 2-0 over EG. And this is a team where they don't want to be that 10th seed heading in. And honestly, if I'm an amateur team looking at that, I don't want to play them either. That was two pretty controlled, measured games from them. And I think a lot of praise has to go over, not only I was hyping up Hyper and Yurson doing a better job of working together coming into the series, but man, Viper and Kaido, these two solo lanes look like they could be really scary come Proving Grounds.
And Kaido's Corki is disgusting.
Yeah, I love how coming into the series, we're expecting to have a couple more TSM, LCS fans watching. This is the second stream for Academy. People aren't as familiar with this, so I'm prepping these guys, you know what, Hyper and Yurson, they've been a huge part of helping this team get better. That's a big part of their second round robin. And then Kaido just comes in and is you know what? I'm just going to pick Corki and have 2 pop-off games. What are you going to do about it?
Giga Chad move right there. Absolutely fantastic. And plus, Viper, we got to give attention to him with how well he played that Gnar game. The 1v3. He got the 1v2 double kill on top lane underneath his turret, granted.
This guy's nasty.
But it was great. This is a great performance from TSM, and it makes me so much more excited for them, looking towards the Proving Grounds. Despite the fact they had to start in the play-ins regardless, this is a team I can easily say getting a 2-0 in their first best of 3, getting immediately back into the double elimination bracket, and being a team that has a miracle run that we've seen out of a lot of the bottom teams in the past for Academy.
And frankly, TSM, they've been a team that, in 10th, you said they're only 2-0 as week 1. At times, this team's been tough to talk about. They've really needed time to kind of figure it out. There have been a lot of roster swaps because of some of the struggles they've had in the LCS as well. And I'm just happy to see them alive and well. This is the best series we have seen out of TSM so far. It's coming just at the right time. It's a really good sign, as you say, Mad Magical, heading in the Proving Grounds. And I'm excited to see if this team can continue to push forward, continue to show more growth. Where can they go? Viper and Kaido, these are 2 really skilled solo laners to have at this level. I want to see how far TSM can go.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll find that out tomorrow when they play against Team Liquid, another really hot team. If they can move up in the standings, deny that.
That's a different beast.
Yeah, that's a whole different beast, but that's for tomorrow, Cubby. We still got more here on our Face It TV channel. Make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. I am joined by Instinct from TSM Academy after their dominant 2-0 victory as day 2 of the Week 8 Super Week
Oh,
concludes. First of all, what is up with TSM today? What did you guys eat? What was the difference? Like what was the difference in prep today?
um, I think it's we ate well, we slept well, we didn't we didn't do we just had a good night's rest, and then we came in the game with good mental, and we're gonna 2-0 these guys.
Easy peasy, apparently. I like it. The rest, the eating well, all that is so important, especially when the season is so long and trying, and especially in a super week. Now, I got to ask you, Instinct, personally, how has it been having a little bit of a revolving door at support yourself, but working with your son again?
I think working with your son has been like a really good experience. He has a really good view on how he wants to play his role. He does
Hmm.
like a lot of engages no one else in the league would do. So I think he's a really good player, and I love playing with him.
So, besides the language barriers potentially there, what was the biggest difference, at least in terms of connection with you as a player, between your son and Shinyi?
I think it's just the two different point of views on how they want to play the game, but I don't think
Hmm.
there's much language barrier gap between like me and your son and me and Shenyi, because
Yeah.
we can both speak English and Mandarin. So I think we can
That's the beauty
like
of the team you put together.
communicate well within like one another.
Well, that's good. So it's just all about the difference in kind of approach to the game itself then. So I guess taking a little bit of stock on 2022 so far, spring splits coming to an end. Tomorrow's the last day. How do you feel about it so far as a TSM Academy member? I know it's not been the greatest split, but it seems you guys are having a resurgence here in the later parts.
I think it has been a roller coaster for this split at least. When we first started out playing, it wasn't like the spot we wanted to be in. And then as the season progressed, we got more help from Ganasso and Peter. And then we
Hmm.
just kept learning, and here we are today. Or like this week, we're at least playing a much better game and not having getting stomped in the early game. And we're just playing our game and beating these guys 2-0.
Love it. Hey, got to go with your strengths, right? How do you feel like your personal performance has been this split?
Um, I think I've been playing decently well, but I can play better. I I can play like different roles in this team,
Hmm.
and it's just like I can be a facilitator and I can be a carry, and I can improve more as the season progresses.
That flexibility is so important. I was actually going to ask you, how do you felt like you fit into the team? Flexibility is key in that aspect. So I already love to see it. What has been your proudest, fondest memory of this entire spring split so far, barring anything crazy happening tomorrow?
I think today's 2-0 has been maybe the best moment for us result-wise, because it's like our real first 2-0.
Mhm.
Other than the first 2-0, we 2-0 the C9, but they had subs, so this one felt better.
Well, I like it. So I guess the question now going forward is PG and your last series of the split. Do you have any thoughts on finishing out the split strong and looking forward to PG at all? Or are you focused on this next series?
I think tomorrow's series we play against TL. I think we will try our best and play our game and try to beat them. But going to PG, I think just because we're last place doesn't mean we're a bad team. I think this second round robin we've been playing really good, and teams should be scared of us.
Especially after a performance like tonight.
Yeah.
I will give you one last little bit here, Instinct. Give you the floor. Do you have anybody you want to talk about? Anybody you want to shout out? Or anybody you want to call out before we let you go?
Mm, I think just support us through the players and the coach. Just because we're last place doesn't mean like we're bad. Don't hate on us, but that's basically it.
I love it, man. Instinct, thank you so much for chatting with me here. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring back my cast